So let's get started with Prometheus. This is a monitoring tool. Why do you need a monitoring tool? First of all, monitoring and alerting tool. Observability is a very important concept. Observability or monitoring, whatever you call it, observability is a very important concept, particularly for DevOps and SRE roles, right? So this is where, like we are automating everything with the DevOps, right? Like I have given a few differences in the beginning for with the DevOps and SRE. Like DevOps is all about automating and like making the deployments faster and efficient, reliable, right? That's what DevOps strives for. So during this process, when we are automating everything, it's very important that you will also automate or you will monitor the complete infra, right? Complete infrastructure monitoring is important. And there were many tools for this, right? You might have heard about many tools. Prometheus is one such tool. Like you have App Dynamics, AppD, you have Dynatrace, you have Splunk for log analysis, of course, right? You have many other tools, right? So I'm just listing few. So you have many other tools for monitoring it. You have Datadog. You might be using multiple tools in your company. Like for instance, like I have worked in different projects, working multiple tools in the same project, right? So because to monitor different metrics, different components, so that's how we do. So Prometheus is one such tool which is having a very widely used now and having good demand. This is very widely used, right? And the advantages and all, we'll talk about it. This is container centric, means it is great tool to monitor containerized environments as well, like containers, Kubernetes clusters and all. So Prometheus has got a lot of importance, and like each tool has got their own pros and cons. They have got uh, their own strengths, right? So we'll be talking about Prometheus here. Once you learn one tool, of course, the tools, for the purpose they are used, the metrics they measure different, but you will get the whole concept of what to monitor, why to monitor, kind of. Right. So Prometheus is the one we are using in this course. It's a great monitoring container-centric environment. It's very easy and simple tool, but having a lot of importance. Right. And monitoring is a very crucial part in DevOps. When you're automating everything 24/7, it's very important you have to monitor the infrastructure. So the huge infrastructures, you can't just sit and monitor them. Correct? You can't just sit and monitor them manually. You can't employ some people so that they monitor the infrastructure manually. So automatic monitoring is very important. Like you need to automate the things, and alerting is also crucial. And this is all comes under observability, right? And the things we monitor, like latency, the speed of the response time, the latency, the downtime of the application, the recovery time, right? All of these comes under the observability, which we'll be learning here. Monitoring tool is very important to identify some errors or some crash, server went down or application is down, all of this. And it is important not that just when the actual scenario happens. It should inform us much beforehand. It should be informing us, right? Kind of warning. That's very important. Okay, it's not that you will know when the complete disk space is 100%. You will know it at 70% or 80% itself, right? So warnings and alerting. Alerts can be of different types. You may be sending an SMS like a paging, or it might be just email alert, or it might be creating an instant. It depends on the criticality. You can set how alerts can be triggered, right? So this is all we have. The different ways. And then Grafana. What is Grafana? People think, or else, like if it's a beginner, they may assume that Grafana is also a monitoring tool. Grafana is not at all a monitoring tool. It's a visualization tool. Visualization tool, right? Visualization tool in the sense you are monitoring some metric in your Prometheus. Let's say I'm monitoring the error response, or else let's say latency in the application I'm monitoring. So Prometheus or any tool provides a minimum user interface, a basic simple interface. that may not suffice your needs. Maybe I want to just check this in a good dashboard or in a clear dashboard, in a colorful pages or whatever. So that's where Grafana comes in, which helps you improvise your visualization, right? So that when you are in prod environments, you need a better visualization, so that you need to identify them. So the color graphs, or else the heat maps, or else the different types of charts and data in the Grafana help you visualize it better. So that's where visualization comes in. So that's it, Grafana. Grafana can be integrated with multiple monitoring tools, databases, and so on. It's not just specific to Prometheus, but Prometheus, Grafana make a great tool stack, monitoring observability tool stack. That's a good combo. But Grafana can be integrated with AppD, Dynatrace, Splunk, Datadog, and so on. So many tools. Even it can be integrated with your databases to monitor the things. And like many data sources are there. I'll show you once we get on to the hands-on. So Grafana is for visualization, to create custom dashboards. Okay, that will also be helpful for visualization. It has got very important importance. This is what the basics are. Right now, coming to Prometheus. Prometheus uses pull configurations, means it will pull the metrics from the targets. There are other tools. One such tool is Nagios, which will use push configuration. That it uses push configuration. Push configuration meaning like it will have to push the configuration. The targets have to push the configurations to the Nagios server. So that will be adding a overhead to the Nagios server. So those are the drawbacks. But Prometheus uses pull configuration, which makes it very widely used, or like easy to use and easy to set up. Right, those are the very basic stuff. We'll get into the Prometheus architecture. We'll learn Prometheus. We'll set up Prometheus, and we'll get started with some hands-on. Right, this is a very basic part. Now I would like to here make a point to SRE as well. SRE is nothing but the whole point of working with the observability tools. It's like a more kind of working with monitoring, observability, and working with the metrics, right? And working with SLI, SLO, error budget. Those are the concepts with the SRE. That's a two different roles, but they highly overlap each other. Everyone should know DevOps. Even SRE engineers should know DevOps, because if you want to keep it reliable and all, like you want to keep the systems reliable, right? And you want to do, and also everything automation is what SRE looks at. So in that case, yes, everything need to be automated. It is a fast-paced environment, so you need to have efficient pipelines. And if you take Kubernetes, you should implement auto scaling, so that the recovery and the scaling should happen with a minimal downtime. So all of that's a great overlap. So I may be touch basing those points like wherever needed. But yeah, SRE role is more of on-call support, where you need to talk about the metrics, you need to work on the metrics in depth. But the overlap is high. And like I told you, these roles are used interchangeably, the designations like SRE, DevOps engineer and all. But that's a little difference you have, the focus of each group or each role. Okay, so coming to Prometheus. Prometheus is a monitoring tool with a pull configuration, which uses pull configuration, and it is great to monitor application, servers, everything, but more container centric. Another thing is, when we talk about SRE, it's a site reliability engineering. Maybe if anyone new here, uh, let me tell you, it's a site reliability engineering. Here, site means it's not just website. Okay, it's the whole site environment. It could be a server, it could be an application, it could be the platform, it could be some load balancers, any component, right, in your environment. That's what is site reliability. SRE focus is to keep the systems up and reliable all the time. DevOps focus is to implement the automation, and deployment should be faster without manual intervention, and reliable, of course. The pipelines should be here. Focus is when we say reliable in DevOps, the pipelines are reliable, right? That's a thin line between those two, but yeah. So let's get started with the Prometheus architecture. Platform engineers or SREs, these are all the which have a lot of overlap and interchangeable. Let me take you to the Prometheus architectural diagram. I think I opened it. Sorry. Okay, coming to this Prometheus architecture, yeah. So Prometheus server, basically it should be a Linux server. Any distribution is fine. It should be a Linux server. Like same like Ansible controller machine should be Linux. This is a Linux server. It can monitor Windows as well. So that's a thing. And you have different components on this server, which is a data retrieval worker, time series database, which is called TSDB, and HTTP web server. So the data retrieval worker is a component which retrieves the data. Okay, which retrieves the data from the targets. That's what it's a pull configuration. It is the component which will pull the metrics from the targets. See, understand this concept thoroughly. It will pull the metrics from the targets. Once it pulls the metrics from the targets, it will store those metrics in the time series database, TSDB. It's a local database where data will be, metrics will be stored as per the timestamp. That's why it's called time series database. And once data is stored, there is also a web server which will pull the data. It means, okay, let me start from this component. Like it has got a UI as well. Prometheus has got a user interface, a basic, a very minimal user interface. So how does it show the data here? It will pull the data. Means this UI is hosted on this web server. And this web server, to show the data on the UI, it will pull the data from the TSDB database. Okay, so that is how the data is pulled and shown on the pages, right? So shown on the UI. So that is the simple architecture. So always Prometheus will pull the configurations. There is also a push configuration for short-lived jobs. Means let's say there is a small job, a short-lived job, a time span, lifespan of the job is small. So pull may not work there. So there push configuration is used. Push gateways are also possible. But this is the simple part. Understand, it will pull the configurations. There is a pull retriever worker which will pull and store it in the time series database. From the database, it will be shown on the UI as the UI is hosted on the web server. And there's another component, a separate application or a component for alerts, which is an alert manager, right? So this is how the Prometheus architecture works in simple. And it can monitor different servers, including Windows also, but this should be a Linux server. That's a simple architecture of Prometheus. Any questions in the architecture? Here I have to tell you a few things. So, it's not allowing me to write. Okay. So, your Prometheus will pull the metrics from the targets, right? It will pull the metrics from the target. But when it pulls the metrics from the target, first of all, the target should expose the metrics to the end. Okay, it should expose the metrics. So not every target will expose the metrics by default. Just a second. Okay, so Prometheus will pull the metrics from the target, but target should expose the metrics. They will not expose the metrics by default. They'll expose by using something called exporters. These are called Prometheus exporters. You might have heard about Prometheus exporters. So Prometheus exporters are like libraries or some executables you have to install on the target so that they'll expose the metrics. How do they expose the metrics? To an endpoint or a URL which Prometheus can understand. Means it will be in the text-based format So it will expose them in the form of to an endpoint or a URL. So Prometheus will pull the metrics from here always at a regular intervals. That's called scrape interval. Every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes or so. That's called scrape interval. Prometheus will pull the metrics from those endpoints or the URLs where the targets are exposing. For the targets to expose, some of them expose by default. But if not, you have to install those. Some of them may not be exposing by default. There we have to install the Prometheus exporters. Yes, Guru, I think you raised the hand. Any questions?
Yeah, Preeti. You said pull the metrics, right? Is it pulling the metrics from Splunk or something like that? Or, I mean,
The
I just wanted to check the source.
pulling the metrics from the target. Target means I want to monitor my Linux server. I want to monitor the disk space. Disk space is a metric. It will pull the metrics like, okay, disk space is 70% at 7 o'clock. It is 69% at 7:05, 68% at 7:10, 7:15. I want to, like Prometheus will pull the metrics as per the timestamp from the
Okay.
targets. That's what I have written. Pull the metrics from the target. Your target is a Linux server.
Yeah, sometimes we will do that alerting on Splunks also, right? Based upon the logs which Splunks
Hmm.
get it. We'll
Hmm.
just click on that alert. So can we have Splunk also as the metrics
Hmm.
to Prometheus?
Splunk is a Splunk. No, you want Splunk as a target? No, Splunk is a a log analysis tool. Means
Correct.
it can collect the logs from any tools and it can analyze and it will help you to filter or browse, I mean, filter the data from the logs and all. That's a log analysis tool. This is a monitoring tool. Prometheus cannot fetch the data or these things from Splunk. Both are different things. This is for monitoring the metrics. Like you have, this is your target. Let's say you will pull the metrics like at 7:1, maybe at 7:10, every 9 minutes or whatever you configure. You can configure the scrape interval, right? 27 and so on. So let's say you want to get the disk space. The disk space values as per the timestamp or latency or the error rate or whatever. So that's how it will pull the metrics from the targets. But the target, this Linux server should expose it to a URL. All those metrics it has to expose to a URL which Prometheus can understand. The URL would be like that Linux server IP. There is some port of that exporter once you install it, colon some endpoint like metrics. That's a default endpoint. That's a URL where it will throw the metrics or show the metrics. That from there, Prometheus will scrape.
Okay.
We will do the lab on this. I'm giving you an overview. The whole concept is Prometheus will pull the metrics from the targets. Target should expose it to a URL and endpoint. It cannot expose by default. You have to install Prometheus exporters. Prometheus exporters, like I told you, are nothing but programs or executables or some scripts, whatever you call it. Is this much clear? If this is clear, I'll talk about some interesting project I have worked in my previous earlier companies. Is this clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, and now, okay, before going to that previous project, let me tell you one more thing. Prometheus setup, Prometheus alert configuration will be handled by separate teams in majority of the companies. Okay, DevOps team will not be doing it. It's very rare DevOps team doing it. DevOps team will be notified about this. But this setup, the metric alert configurations, all of them will be done by separate teams, SRE teams. Okay, alert configuration or configuring the alert means like, okay, I want an alert when the disk space is 90%. Alert means, like I told you, like you need an SMS or an email, or it should create an instant if the impact is high to draw the attention of the support teams. Right? So this is how it is. It should trigger an alert. You have to configure the alerts. Like I told you, this will be all done by SRE teams. Definitely, there'll be a separate team for this to do this part. Okay, but yeah, you will be notified. You should know like which one is triggering the alert, all this kind of. Okay, this is all the story of Prometheus. We'll get started with the hands-on with the Prometheus setup, then the doing monitoring these things and all. But going to that, I will share you some interesting project, interesting experience I have. I have worked in a project where that's a DevOps team. The project itself is um, monitoring metrics from different devices in the network. It's a telecom project, telecom domain, where we have to monitor the metrics of the whole network. Like it could be the device, it could be the routers, it could be the servers, everything should be monitored. But here, this project, then why is it DevOps project? It should be with SRE, right? Here, this DevOps team is not creating alerts and all, but the main focus is they are deploying, or else this DevOps is to um, develop and deploy Prometheus exporters. Means Prometheus exporters, like I told you, programs. Yes, we have our own exporters also. They can be written in Python. This needs in-depth of coding. So there is a separate development team for it. Okay, development team are developing Python code. It could be an application or anything, right? Here, that Python code is a Prometheus exporter. Okay, so DevOps team is creating pipelines for delivering those exporters. Is that making sense? So that's another view of it. Like Prometheus is also an application. It needs some exporters. Those are Python exporters. That development team is there. So separate development team is there who will develop these exporters. And this DevOps team will create CI/CD pipelines to deploy these exporters. So that is the project actually, right? Once this exporter is developed, they'll also test it by integrating it in the Prometheus, like testing the servers and all. So this is one thing of the project. Another aspect is we are also managing this Prometheus on our own EKS clusters. Prometheus and Grafana are deployed. Again, they are deployed via CI/CD pipelines on EKS. Right? You might be installing it with the existing Helm chart and all, but here it's a custom Prometheus and Grafana in the sense they have their custom dashboards. And it is like I told you, right? It's a telecom domain where they are monitoring the servers. So they have to deliver the custom dashboards. Custom dashboards are Grafana created and they should be backed up in the volumes, Kubernetes volumes. So that is all a huge part. But yeah, so Prometheus configurations, writing a custom Helm charts, because every sprint there'll be some modifications we are doing with how Prometheus is monitoring, or the Grafana dashboards, storing the Grafana, deploying them on the pods and all, and implementing availability for Grafana, all of that. That's the aspect of this project. Another aspect of the same project would be another team who are working, configuring the alerts, creating custom dashboards for Grafana. So that's for that's a client requirement, custom dashboards for all. But that's a thing. So in this course, what we'll do is we'll set up Prometheus as a container. Like we'll integrate Docker Compose and we'll set up Prometheus container. Okay, we'll use Compose and deploy Prometheus, Grafana, all of the tool stack. That's one aspect of it. Okay, and then we'll monitor it. You can install it in multiple ways. So, any other questions from anyone? We'll get started with the hands-on in the next class. Any more questions you have, you can ask.
So Preethi, we will scrap the logs to Prometheus and display on Grafana, right?
Yes, on Prometheus itself, you can display Prometheus has got UI, but for custom and better visualization, we have Grafana.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and there is a question from JP. Can you share your experience on DevOps? Have you started and journey once? Just want to know. Sure, JP. Okay, in the coming up sessions, we'll do. In one class, we'll do that. And yesterday I saw another question from you guys, which I couldn't answer, which I remember is about like you are not finding time to do the hands-on as you guys are working and all. I definitely know, like with all the work, with all the hectic load and the stress and the pressure on the things we deliver, definitely that's challenging. But if you want to make a switch in your career, if you want to do something apart from your regular tasks, if you want to make a move, switch your careers, if you want to have a great improvement over your career, definitely yes, that's a challenge, you have to face it. Find some time, keep some dedicated time every day. The discipline, the consistency are the keys. In today's dates, I know how difficult it is to stay consistent and to stay disciplined, because we have so many deviations, we have so many distractions, right? After work for relaxation, we get on to some relaxing things, like we have a mobile in our hand. It would be very difficult, unknowingly or knowingly, we consume lot of time over there. So it's very challenging these days for anyone, everyone, right? But somehow we have to overcome that, cope up with the things, and we have to make it if we want to make a switch in your career. So definitely follow some consistency and discipline. Like you're all professionals, you might be having your own plans, your own schedules, and all. Just plan it to keep some time for the training, right? Give some time for your training, like every day 2 hours until you make a move. The consistency and discipline, sticking to the routine, like the schedule once you make it, is very important. That's the key. And like in a couple of days the course will be completed, in the coming week. But you will have all the material and all the support for lifetime, so don't give up after the training. You should do the hands-on, because I definitely know there will be a lot of pending work you have to do, right? So definitely go through it, complete it, reach out to us, right? Post it in the group. Responses may be delayed at times, but definitely we will respond, right? So yeah, do the hands-on. That's the only thing, only shortcut, only thing if you want to make a move is rigorous hands-on is what I would suggest. That's from my personal experience. Continuous hands-on, right? And your technical expertise will help you stand out of the crowd and help you add value to your projects. You will become a credible team member with the technical expertise. You all know that, right? So just keep working on it. Have consistency. Anything you want to share or any questions?
Preethi, post these sessions, right? The same WhatsApp group would be used for communication, or how to reach for any stoppers.
The group will be there.
Okay.
Okay. You can still post in the WhatsApp group. We'll respond the same way. Even if I am busy, team will respond, Raj will respond. They're all experienced in these things. So we'll respond. And you have the website, everything. So you can reach out. The same support will be there throughout.
Yeah.
And we want you all to see reaching your goal. Some of you might be looking to make a move in your career. You may want to switch out, you may want to switch your companies or switch your profiles. So we are there to help you. So reach out to us, reach out if you need a help in resume preparation or anything. By now, if you have done consistently, of course, 100% consistency or 100% perfection along with the course may be very difficult, but there are people who have done that, right? There are people who have done that, who have got multiple offers in hands also. But yeah, it is a case by case. So like try to get that and try to market yourself. By now you should be marketing yourself. You should be ready with your resumes and put it in the job marketing sites, right? You will be receiving calls. Don't worry about I'm not perfect, then after becoming perfect I'll take the call. You just get started taking the calls and you will get perfect in the run. You should get started so that you will get experience. You will see what questions will be asked, how much you are up to the market, how much knowledge gap you have to as per the market standards. You will know all of these things personally. As many number of times I tell, as many number of scenarios I explain or someone explain, until you face it personally, it won't make a difference. Once you face it personally, it will bring a lot of difference, trust me. So keep your resume in the website, though okay, you there might be failures initially, lot many failures. You might be already working as a developer or a tester or so on. Keep working on that. and try out on this. So that's how you should make a switch. Just a general session. I see people coming to me saying that I'm leaving this to get into DevOps. And all. Don't leave your current jobs. Always there should be a standby that makes you secure and pressure free. That's how you should switch over. Maybe not in this group, like in general, I'm telling. So that's always a best choice. So keep trying parallelly. Of course, lot of effort is needed, like I already mentioned. So that's how you should plan. So reach out to us if you need any help with your resumes and start marketing yourself and gain the experience and that's how you can reach your goal.
Preeti, is there any link or any document for Cube Console? How to the command for seeding the logs into Cube Console?
I don't have at the moment handy, Guru. I'll
Mm.
let you know. Okay, let me check. And what is the requirement? Like, what are you actually looking at?
Seeding of logs directly to logging into pods and checking the logs
Okay,
into
don't you
Cube
have
Console.
access to those pods?
I have the pod access, but the commands, right? Sometimes, I mean, the pods are getting intermittently delimited and all.
Okay,
So there are some difficulty to reaching out the pods.
okay.
So I have the command handy, but sometimes the seeding is very difficult.
Yeah,
So
I understand. Actually, you have different ways for this pod logs. You can also have that in Splunk. You can have that in Grafana as well.
yeah,
Different.
Splunk is there, but the problem of the Splunk is to debug and all to go to Splunk and everything will be sometimes hard, right? But
Yes, yes.
pods would be easy. I mean, if you are debugging some very difficult trace outs, right? Every
Yeah,
time we can't go to higher server to deploy and everything, right? So to
understand.
debug something, yeah,
Yeah, got it. Like there are different ways you can monitor it, but yeah, I will
sure,
let you know if I see something. Let me check and we'll get back. Okay.
sure. And one more thing, for different environments, if we keep that deployments for Kubernetes, right? How can we pass the config elements to uh, through YAML? Is it like through POM or should we go to YAML files to pass that config elements?
Like you are using multiple environments like dev, staging, and all, right?
Correct.
So one thing is like just I'm clarifying, confirming the understanding. So you are having some attributes like maybe let's say the image name should be suffixed with the dev for dev environment. Image name you should use that should be suffixed
Correct.
with kind of. So one way is to use Helm chart for it, where it will use templating approach. You will use the parameters or attributes so that you don't hard code them. That's
Mm-hmm.
one approach, the Helm chart approach, the most widely used approach. There is also another approach, template free approach, which is customized.
Mm-hmm.
Customized. Customize is another approach where you use the without templating. It's a directory structure approach, which can be used for that. So try out depending on your flexibility.
Sure.
With the content we have learned in Kubernetes, you can explore those things. That's a simple part, but a specific use case. Okay, you can check in the official pages as well.
Yeah.
Rishi,
Right now I'm facing the same problem actually. Some
okay,
config element is not being set and the
okay.
pipeline is breaking what I expect. Yeah.
Yeah, you can check on Helm part or these two. If you are comfortable with Helm, you can go for it. That will
Sure.
be the standard.
From Docker, I am bit. I did not do hands-on. I'm just trying to cover it on weekends. But yeah,
Okay,
just see. Thanks.
okay, sure. Yeah. Rishi, please ping me. Okay, don't worry. Okay, if you have any thing you want to speak, just ping me on the WhatsApp. I just spoke to Raj as well. Okay, it was under consideration. Okay, we'll do the need at the earliest possible. Okay, it is actually we discussed that. All right then. Thank you all. Good day. See you on Monday morning. Sure, Rishi. Right. Please ping me. Thank you all. Bye, everyone.